All right, everybody, welcome back to the Craftverse series, episode 356, and I have been hiding something from you. In between the last few recordings, I have been gradually working on a little bit of an expansion and another build, uh, mostly because the tutorial is very lengthy and very extensive, and I wanted it to be a nice surprise. I also did not complete the interior of the build, so, the exterior was really all I did. But I've also done a little bit of landscaping, as you might notice. Over there has a new entry point into a retaining wall. That leads over to this wall and thus to the build. So let's go over and take a peek. We're going to land on this here tree for a good vantage point, I think. There we go. This is Roseridge Manor, designed by EcoSMP. Not sure if it's a collab with other creators or anything, but it's very large and very detailed. And I tried to have as much of the detail packed into this as possible. There's several layers to each wall structure, so it took quite a bit of time. There's also details underneath here. Don't mind that crafting bench. I just needed that for finishing the build. It kind of works. You could see that they're double paned glass on the bottom. There's a couple of details missing, like I don't have the potted stuff right here. But for the most part, it's pretty well replicated. There's also some more pots right here. EcoSMP, you are officially credited on the front entrance of the build. There is only one entrance by foot. I did manage to get the staircase in, which isn't put in until after this level of the interior is done in the video. So it took me a little while to get to that point. And I gotta clean this up a little bit, but is my axe? All right, let's pop that off. I'm just gonna tuck you here. That seems fine. Yeah, just out of the way. Maybe under the stairs would have been a better shout, but you know what? That's where it's going for now. I also included the up spiral that brings you to the attic. It's a bit less janky, if only a bit. And there's room for a whole other set of stuff in here that I haven't actually messed around with, but this gives you a nice vantage point for the area, and I'm realizing now that I forgot to put a block there. It's supposed to be a barrier block. Nice vantage point for the majority, though this corner piece is blocking the view of the majority of that. And we get a nice view of this direction. We can also head back down the stairs and go into the neighboring tower. Get a nice little visual of the interior here. Yes, I know, there's a bunch of pots that I'm missing. I apologize. I did not get to that point. This took quite some finagling to get right. And then we go down here. And we have this space, which I didn't add additional walls to. Hopefully this will be fine. I'm not quite sure what's supposed to go in here. I didn't get that far in the video. I didn't want to do too much off camera. I did get the majority of this build put in off camera though, so sorry. It's kind of difficult to judge when a tutorial is too detailed or not quite detailed enough to justify replicating on recording without taking away from the original creator's work. So if it's a large build like this, I try to do it off screen. So if you notice in the past few episodes, I had tried very hard not to look this direction because that main building was already installed before I could even get that in, or the majority of the entrance. And I was already working over there. So that was a decent distraction. But over here, I have leveled out and converted the entire surface to grass. We don't have to worry about spawns. We're still on peaceful. And I'm trying to decide how far out I want this retaining wall to go. Because there's quite a big area on this side for potentially beachside property. If we come over here, this is almost entirely filled in. I'm not sure why I missed that one piece. Do I have any grass? No, of course not. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have this wall wrap around a little bit and have this curve out this way and head over there. That way there's plenty of room for builds on the edge, and I might have another lighthouse over here or some other build over there. But this area is really starting to come together and offer a nice view of things. However, what we are going to do today is add in a little bit of a water feature behind this dark oak house. As you can see, I've already gotten in the fountain front facade in, and there is some light structure back there. But we're going to make that a little bit nicer looking with some deep slate. I'm going to put this over here with my collage of shulker boxes. I need to convert at least one of you into stairs. I don't actually need the axe anymore, so this, go over there, and you come here. Okay. So we're going to start on one side and work our way over. First off, I want to put the deep slate stairs on the bottom here so you can see a little bit of the light, but not very much. But it's also going to be covered over by some stairs. Want to leave the very tippity top one. We're going to pop out that, and that. We're going to leave the middle one alone. That's going to be a light. For right now, we can put you here and here and bring this down. And then, do I have stairs? No, I gotta make some. Okay. Don't actually need the shovel. Do need those. And we're gonna put this one facing downward like so. So it creates a little ring of sorts. And there's gonna be a light in the middle. Do I want to put an actual lantern in there? No, that would be silly. Yeah, we're going to leave it like that for now. We have more stairs to put in. I'm not quite sure how I feel about these new mob sounds that they've tweaked. Let me know in the comments. Are you a fan of them? Hearing real life cow noises is a bit jarring at times, at least to my ears. This is to add some depth to it. Then put those in the top. Switch, go one block down, put you on the bottom side, and then just drag the deep slate down to meet. This is going to be behind the water, so it's going to add a little bit of coloration depth. Trick of the eyes, as it were. Okay. Now we do this 2 more times. One thing I didn't think to grab while I was in the base was some more lights. Hopefully I have enough stashed away somewhere around here. Also didn't have the inventory space for the lights, unfortunately. So we got one more of these to put in. Put those there. Just gonna preemptively put those in the way so I don't have to think about it. Remove these. Pop you out. Okay, so I now need to grab exactly 4 of those. Okay, why did it sound like the happy gas was drowning? Or was it the cat? There's no water over here yet. How is the cat drowning? Weird. Okay, so next up I need my lights. I have 2, so we can at least demonstrate what I'm talking about. We're gonna put this right in there. We're gonna do the same thing in each one. These are all the materials that went into putting that Roseridge Manor build together. It's quite extensive indeed. I have those lights. No, no. No. There is a small chance. Chance not successful. Okay. Actually, I will be needing these for the surface level. Okay. So we can put the deep slate away. We're done with that. Pretty much done with that, but I don't have another box for you. Okay. And we're going to be using the prismarine in the base, but I am going to need my shovel for that. That's just too much. Now you'll actually be able to see the prismarine. Okay, so we're going to leave that one free. And I'll show you why here in a bit. But for right now, we're going to do this. Actually, I want to make you stairs also. Yes, I kind of do. So there we go. We just have to hop our way out of here. Oh, wait, I skipped this one on the end. How dare I? All right, so we want to take all of these out. The ones on the end get to go all the way down. These ones are only going to go 2 deep, and these are going to be stairs, and I might have slabs just to add in a little bit of depth to it, which means I then also need to break these out. And I'm tempted to replace these with the prismarine bricks. Oop. Okay. Repetition is so fun. If you know the original source of that song, you had a good childhood. Potentially. Could be opening up a bad can of worms in the comment section by someone trying to prove me wrong, but you know what? It's fine. Every video you open up a can of worms of people trying to prove you wrong. It's just how wrong you're comfortable being. Such is the nature of life. Never be right 100% of the time. If you can at least be right a good portion, then you're pretty much good. Hmm. Yeah, this should be fine. Now we need stairs. And then the rest can be slabs, and we don't have any excess blocks floating around. All right, so my general thought process here is to have these going down. Have that like that. That way it creates a little bit of depth with the fountain. You never want it to just be a slab of something. It's the last of the prismarine that I can think of needing. I do still need those 2 lights. I have to figure out where I'm going to get those from exactly. Okay, now do we want to change out? I think it's too much prismarine to do that. We'll leave it as it is for now. We'll see what happens. I have to get the water now. See how it looks. So we're just going to go down to the ocean. Scoop up a couple things. Don't worry, I won't have to do this every single time. I only have to do it the once if I do it correctly. The first time. All right, so we're going to put it here. And I'm going to put it here and make an infinite source in the middle. Actually, I didn't want to put you there. I want you on the bottom and on the bottom. So you're aiming this way. Good, you're flowing actually kind of the way I wanted you to. I want you to stop over here and not flow over this. So that worked out nice. This one, however, I want there. Just going to make it easier to get the pair inside. And then you create an infinite source in the middle, and then we have our little fountain. Now it doesn't look complete because we don't have the additional light in the center, but we'll get there in a minute. Having that shovel in the middle is throwing me off. You in, go up the waterfall, second stair. Make sure you went to the right spot. Yep, you're in the stair. Good. This is a smaller variation of the ones I was tinkering with in the Awkward Kingdom Season 1. Right around the wall of my base. For those who may remember. Okay, so now we've got all the water in place. And with the deep slate behind it, it looks like it's actually shaded properly. So that's what I want. Now, I'm actually going to store those water buckets in my main shulker. Grab these out. Rather than going to bed, I'm going to come up top and finish placing in these as it's almost nighttime anyway. So I want there to be enough light to actually put builds in here, and I'm not sure if I want this retaining wall to stretch all the way down to over there or stop and curve back in this way. Because as we come over here, you'll notice I've got another curve of the road right about where that light post is. Right next to the fountain here, we have this little deviation, which ends up somehow centering in underneath that ridge. So it'll work out perfectly. And I'm debating on whether I want to have it go straight or if I want to have it go tiered down a couple layers and have it kind of weave out that way and have the retaining wall come up right next to the fountain. Honestly, I think I just talked myself into doing that because that sounds pretty cool. And it will almost be centered with this, so it'll work out nice. It'll meet up with the fountain, but the fountain's it's probably gonna go at some point. I'm gonna be honest. This gives me just enough darkness to see where the torch light ends. Give me that. It also took me quite a while off camera to fill in all of the crevices underneath this hill, because there were quite a few deep holes that I had to fill in. I didn't go underneath water, but I did fill in everything above the water. It just took me a while to do. Don't want enough darkness for a riding mount to spawn, because that usually leads to a spear in the butt. As I found out when trying to take a thumbnail shot a few weeks ago. Alright. I'm thinking the road's gonna end up coming up here and meeting with over there at some point. Probably just under that, because it is matching. So if we come over here and do something similar to what I have up there under here, I kind of want it to be one over. So if I do this, it'll be right where that berry bush is coming inward and over to this berry bush. How many does that leave me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, and for this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. So in order to have a decent sized build and have it look good, I actually do want to have it moved back over. I have blocks. I have blocks. So we're actually going to forego having the additional space. We're going to have it start on that berry bush and that berry bush. Wait. Hmm. Gotta do that. Pop these out. In order to have it start on the berry bush, I have to thus remove the berry bush. I didn't mean to break that one, actually. Mm-hmm. You go back. Thank you. You go there. And you can go there. Pick up all the junk. Okay. So in order to make that look good, okay, that is going to drive me up the wall. Give me that. Okay. All right. And then we break out these. And where's the other one? Pop. We do that. All right. So now I have my turn. See, that's what I mean by the aggressive cow noises. I don't know if I like the new animal sounds. It's too realistic. It's like you're being charged by a bull. But yeah, I'm going to end up having these two paths meet at a junction right in there. And you guys have watched me make paths a million times before. It's perfectly fine to do that off camera. What did you think of the Roseridge Manor build, though? I think it looks framed very nicely next to that Psycraft sword portal. It looks very nice. Now I just have to figure out what I want to do with the back 40 right here. I'll probably find a couple of decent sized builds to plug in here and it'll look pretty nice. I should go before it starts becoming a thunderstorm. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next week for more shenanigans, or in the next episode if you are binge watching this series in the future. Time travel is awesome. Bye.